the 11th event entitled Women in Math. We've been doing this 11 years, and there's so many people that come together to make this event happen for you. They start with people like Sandy and other faculty that you see wearing these bright blue shirts that start working on this probably January to make this event happen for you. We have student volunteers in the room that are CSM students. Let's hear it. Anybody? There they go. Don't be shy. They come together to help us make this event special. We have, let's see, technical support around us. They're working, so they probably won't raise their hands. We have our presenters that are around that you'll see, of course, showcasing their talents and talking about what they do every day and use mathematics. We have people to make sure that the news gets out to you and your parents and your teachers that we're having this special event from our marketing area at the college. Because if we can't get that information out there, how would we know it's happening? Don't want to forget anyone else. Let's see, who else? How about the girls who are coming to participate? And how about their parents who brought them here? How about their teachers who think that this is a good idea to come out and spend a Saturday? All these people came together to make an event special for you, to inspire you, to show you what you could do with mathematics in so many different fields. This is the end of a work week and towards the end of an academic year where all the people who are involved in teaching and learning are looking towards the end of the school year, but we still get excited and inspired when we see young people who want to use mathematics and learn mathematics to make their lives richer and to even maybe make a career out of it. So when I say make your life richer, it's two ways to interpret that. Well, I have the pleasure of introducing our keynote speaker who came to us all the way from the sunny state of Florida to talk to you. And one of the things that, and her bio's in the program, but the thing that really strikes me is that you're going to meet the first African-American woman to earn a PhD in engineering from the state of Oklahoma who comes here to speak to you. So that is very impressive. She's got lots of inspiring stories to tell because I've heard her speak before. So I'm going to welcome her, and let's give her a warm round of applause. This is Dr. Pamela McCauley.
It's so nice to be here with you guys today. I think I got some tech support. Sandy and Andrea, and to all of you guys who have organized this, my hat goes off to you. Yesterday I talked about some best practices, and doing things like this really does demonstrate one of the things that we know works in helping young women consider careers in STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, and math. And we're here to talk about math. I'm an engineer, but I had a license plate for years that said love math. And I'll talk to you a little bit about that. I love math because my father insisted that I take math, algebra in the 7th grade, and so I had to take a lot of math. But there were some days that I did not just want to curl up with my calculus book. And so I want you to know that even though you may have some times where you're not that excited about your classes, you can still get through those classes and have a wonderful career. Because a lot of times I've seen brilliant young women let one class stop them, and you shouldn't do that. There's so many exciting, awesome careers if you're willing to get through some of those more difficult or less than exciting topics. And that's true for every major. Sometimes we think only STEM majors have classes they don't want to take. I have friends who are attorneys, friends who are psychologists. They've had classes that they didn't necessarily like. So it's worth it just to get through those 1 or 2 bad classes that you don't like. And guess what? I'm a professor. I think I'm a really good professor. I love teaching. But some students might not like me. I can't imagine that, but they won't. And you're going to have professors you don't like. Don't let that make you give up on your goal. So I'm going to talk today about why STEM is a great choice for young women. And it really is. I mean, I love coffee. If I had time, I'd sit down with each one of you. We'd have a latte and we'd talk about how science, technology, engineering, or math is so real and so relevant in your world and how it's a realistic and exciting career opportunity for you. So I don't want to give you guys too many statistics, but this is a little clip that was done. Isn't that an awful picture of me? But this is a little clip that was done about a story on To the Contrary. And I think it's a good idea to hear this. The volume, can we turn the volume up a little bit?
African American women represent fewer than 5% of that group. As part of our Black History Month coverage, we look at the lack of diversity in those industries. I had never seen a black female engineer until I was in graduate school. I went to the NETSI conference, and so if I saw a professional woman in a suit, I was just so happy. That was very important to me to know that at least they existed.
Dr. Pamela McCauley was recently honored as Black Engineer of the Year. She's one of a handful of African American women who are tenured engineering professors in the U.S. McCauley lectures at schools nationwide about overcoming obstacles. As a teen mom from a small town, she didn't let her circumstances destroy her dreams.
We need to provide exposure for our children because even though I'd never seen a black female engineer, something inside me made me believe that I could do it.
1 in 7 engineers is a woman, according to a 2011 report by the U.S. Department of Commerce. Women hold less than 30% of computer science jobs. Researchers found that while some women associate careers in STEM with white males, others already established in the field leave partly due to hostile work environments and discrimination.
We don't feel like it's a career for women. African American women are 2% of the engineers today. Most disconcerting is when they leave the field because they may feel marginalized or don't feel like they really have the opportunities that some of their counterparts have. And I'm saying, don't go. Don't go. I say, you survive rigid body mechanics, statics and dynamics, thermodynamics, calc 1, 2, and 3. Where are you going? If you survive those things, it is possible to figure out how to manage and navigate through your career.
Retention is not just an issue in the workplace, it's also a problem in schools. McCauley suggests encouraging girls to take science and math classes at an early age.
You'll see second and third grade girls running around saying they're going to be an astronaut and a doctor and do all these wonderful things. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to be Miss America too. They have that very open and receptive mindset and are very willing to consider the more technical and challenging professions.
McCauley says in middle school, girls' perceptions change, and they may not see engineering and technical fields as good professions for them.
Help them understand how relevant it is. I mean, the color of my lipstick, you know, the science went into this. I mean, the clothing that I wear, also the airplane that I flew in. I mean, there's so many relevant things that we do, and everywhere you look, you're touching something that's STEM related.
Connecting real-life experiences to STEM is only part of the solution. A pilot program is underway with the goal of creating more inclusive curricula and helping faculty bond with minority women. McCauley recommends training faculty how to address students who may be the only minority in the room.
There is oftentimes inherent bias in our interaction and expectation associated with students who are females or those who are of color. It helps to have someone from the outside who's a STEM professional to come in and say to the student, hey, I went through the same thing. You're lucky you're here. At least there's 3 of you guys. I was the only one.
McCauley encourages mentorship, but says young women should consider mentors who may not look like them.
We need to understand that we should be comfortable in asking people to mentor us if they're in the disciplines that we're interested in. And while it would be wonderful if you could have a black female, if you're a black female, to mentor you because she can help you understand certain things that you as only a black woman may experience, it's important not to limit ourselves to that.
Though the numbers are quite low, the number of women of color entering STEM fields is on the rise.
Of the 30 fastest growing professions, 15 are STEM related. The salaries are very competitive. And there are opportunities for growth, and I'm hopeful that as we see more and more women of color and women and people of color in STEM professions, that you will start to see more of those glass ceilings broken.
So we need you. We desperately need you. And I am so glad that each and every one of you is here, because I don't think that we really understand just how significant this problem is. When we had the Great Recession that we call it of 2008, I said if there's one good thing about that recession, it really helped us see that we are in this boat together as a nation. And so we need every able body who is interested in STEM, studying STEM, succeeding in STEM, getting in a STEM career, and staying. And as I said in the clip, not only do you leave sometimes, you get through all of the college and then you get into a profession and you leave. So ladies, look at me. That's not going to happen to anyone here. None of you. If you decide you want to study STEM, whether it's science, technology, you want to become an engineer, apply math, and you go to work in a field, you're not going to leave your field because you feel like you're not important or you feel like you're not capable. That has to stop, because you are capable. And sometimes people have issues and they have nothing to do with you. So I want to jump right into some of these things. The video just shared, hopefully, that this really is important. And I get excited about things, and when I come place and people say, you know, I get them fired up, and I'm glad you're fired up, but my inspiration is icing on the cake. This is a huge need. And there are huge opportunities for each and every person here if they will consider and are willing to work hard and have a STEM career. And guess what? You can have fun. I love what I do. I've been a professor for 22 years. I still get excited when I go to work. I mean, now there are things I don't like to do, like filling out reports, and in fact, I have an NSF report that's passed due right now. But I love my work, and it's so important for girls to know that they can enjoy their work, love what they're doing, and have an impact. And so STEM is so important, and I've met some young people. I met one young lady at a University of Missouri, and she said, I have a friend who says he has a great idea for a product that he's going to create, and he is essentially a STEM person, but he doesn't feel like he needs education. You know, Bill Gates didn't get his degree, so, you know, he can become a multimillionaire, billionaire without doing it. I said, well, you know, he may be able to do that, but the importance of getting a STEM education is that it teaches you problem-solving techniques. It teaches you scientific principles. So I said to her, if he's going to do self-study and do it all on his own, it may take him 8 to 10 years when he can go and get a STEM degree in 4 to 5 years. I said, he's going to do the study anyway. Why not get the degree? Why not have the credibility associated with it? So there's a lot of value to a STEM education, and it rolls over into other areas of your lives. My family calls me when they want to problem solve, because in engineering, we are taught the engineering problem solving approach. So I can fix some problems. Now I tell them, don't call me unless you want to fix, because I'm coming with a solution. Now here's what you need to do. And so this is what they do. They say, oh, let's not call Pamela unless we're sure we want to do something with it. Because we can solve some problems. And that's what your engineering career will teach you to do. It teaches you to be creative, to be innovative. And many of you are already creative. And I love it when I see these artistic and amazing young women. They think, I'm too artistic to be an engineer. No, you're not. We need artistic people, highly artistic people. Your iPhone is a work of art, and it is pure STEM. So forever banish the notion that because you're an artistic person, you weren't designed to be in STEM. That's just not true. So let's talk about what STEM is. Obviously, we got scientists. Scientists investigate our natural world, and it's so funny. They come down here, engineers create our world. I love the show, The Big Bang Theory. I said scientists think they're better than engineers. You know that. They do, because they're into pure knowledge. So the creation of knowledge and information. We take it, we make it work, and we get paid. Okay? Nothing wrong with that. And then we got technologists. They apply science and math to designs, and then your mathematicians using math and symbols to solve problems. Now, truthfully, all of this is very interrelated. We work very collaboratively when you're actually looking at the work environment and product development, and even in academia. With my research now, there's such a huge push for interdisciplinary research. So I have the good fortune of working with a lot of different STEM professionals, and even people beyond STEM professionals, true art, artistic people, and social scientists in a lot of my projects. So STEM professionals. Okay, now I have this song that I love, I Can Do Anything, and so I may be taking a little liberty here. Maybe we can't do everything, but we can do a whole heck of a lot as STEM professionals. We design, we invent, we build, we analyze, we orchestrate, we manage, we conceive, we evaluate, and we improve. Have you ever had a product, and picked up a product or something, and maybe you didn't like it, and you thought, God, this would be so much better if it could just do this, this, or that? Well, that's an improvement and innovation. So that's your STEM inner person at work, okay? Your STEM inner person is at work when you're looking at something, you're saying, we can make it better. Now, what are some of our needs? Now, this is what some of the problems that we solve as STEM professionals. Our needs: basic shelter, basic clothing, water, family, friends, okay? So all of our basic needs. We had to eat, okay? Sometime, hopefully you've eaten something this morning, even in the last couple of days, so you had to eat. You had to put on clothes if you live around here. You know, some people don't wear clothes, but we're not talking about those people, okay? You had to have some water, okay? You had to have some shelter. So these are our basic needs. So STEM professionals work on our basic needs, but this is where we get the big bang for the buck, in our wants, okay? I just talked about the iPhone. Now, iPhone people, I love you, but nobody really needs an iPhone 6. Now, you might think you do, but honey, you don't. Okay, but people are buying them, standing in line overnight to get them. And that's STEM at work. And listen, I want you to have your iPhones. I want you to create your new phones. But I want you to be on the inside, being a part of this culture. Because the opportunity is so there. And it's so real. And not just iPhone, Samsung. Okay, everybody? Because I got an expert witness call to support Apple in a case one time because some of the research that I did on the human factors of cell phones. And so people think Apple paid me. They didn't pay me. Get it on tape. Apple did not pay me. I just did the research. But it is a good product. Okay, so you can have fun, you can have impact, and you can make a difference. And I'm still surprised that people don't think STEM careers are fun. So we're going to break through that barrier today. Now, each of you here today is here because you have some difference makers in your world. It's your parents. This is my mom and dad, just visiting me. They spend 3 months a year with me in the winter. So hanging out with them, they were the foundation, parents, family, and friends. But I often say to students who don't have that, if you haven't been fortunate enough to have that, you can still have a wonderful, successful career. So you got mentors, teachers, counselors, and then outreach programs such as this. So there have been people who had this foundation of parents, family, and friends, and they didn't accomplish the things that they were perfectly capable of accomplishing. So don't think if you don't have all of those wheels in that foundation that you can't be a success. That's not true. That's just not true. Now, from an educational background standpoint, when I come and I talk to young women, and I come in my high heels and fresh weave and my new mascara, and I don't want you confused and thinking that I just bam dropped out of the womb like this, and here I was all confident and bad, and here I am to conquer the world. No, honey, I had my insecurities, my fears, made my mistakes, just like you have and will. And from a background standpoint, I went to the University of Oklahoma, but I had my child when I was in high school, and I'll show you that. This is my baby, okay? I was in sophomore in high school when I became a mother. Now, I was always a good student, but people said, oh, you're not going to do anything with your life. Oh, my God, we thought you were going to go to college. Well, I remember talking to Miss Bennett, and this is why it's so important to have that good circle of people around you. And my parents were still very supportive, very hurt and disappointed, but very supportive, and still told me I could go on to college. But I was hearing a lot of negativity, and there'll be times in your life when you may do something, you might actually do something, where people are saying negative things to you. And it's really important to remember at that time, ladies, that everybody makes mistakes. You don't have to live the rest of your life in a certain way that other people say because you made a mistake. You can get over it. I don't care what it is, honey. You can get over it. But you're the only person that will really decide that. But that good circle of influence, those mentors, those teachers, those counselors, and even good friends around you, that's so important. Because I remember being in Ms. Bennett's class. She was my biology teacher. And I was pregnant at the time. And she said, well, what do you want to do with your life, Pamela? I said, well, I used to want to be a doctor. She said, you can still be a doctor. And I remember it meant so much to me that my biology teacher, this teacher who she was smart and she knew science and she was a teacher, if she thought I could still be a doctor, then I really could. And I think it's so important for each of us to understand just how important our words are. And anytime we have an opportunity to sow positivity and encouragement into someone's life, that we do it. She didn't know until years later, and I named a scholarship after her that I gave at the school. She didn't know for years what an amazing impact she had on me. But you can overcome it. So that fueled me, that encouraged me, and then I was willing to work hard. So we're going to talk about some of those things. So girls are good at STEM. I have 16-year-old goddaughters that are twins, and I have a 35-year-old daughter. My daughter is the one who I just showed you the picture of. She started out as engineering, but that really wasn't her thing, and I didn't think it was. I think she was just trying to follow in my footsteps. But her thing is operations. So she got her degree in business, operations of technical organizations, and she was a COO for my company for a long time. And I just observing her technical skills, and same thing with my goddaughters. But oftentimes we're not told that those are very natural skills that would make you an excellent STEM professional. And how I was saying just a few minutes ago, when you look at something or you're trying to fix something in your house or going somewhere, you're thinking, gosh, if they just changed this in the car, I'm getting in the car, if they just moved it a little bit so you can move a little better when you're inside it, that's anthropometrics. Anthropometrics is the study of human body dimensions, and that's a part of the field of ergonomics, which I do. So it's all around you, and your STEM inner person is working all the time. And I'm going to encourage you to bring that STEM inner person out by taking some of these classes. And this is another reason. Jobs. Who wants to graduate and not have a job? I don't think there's a single hand in here that will go up. But who would like to graduate and have a very nice job looking at this, when we look at the projected increase in jobs, looking at biomedical engineers, 62%, medical scientists, system software engineers, the opportunities are there, but we're not there to fill those jobs. Today, only 9% of engineering jobs are filled by women, 27% of computer science and computer programming jobs, which I'm surprised is that high, at 27% in computer science and computer engineering. And then, of course, in terms of receiving the degrees, our numbers have gone up, but not nearly where they should be. Ladies, we need to do this. We need to do it. We need to be talking to our friends about it, okay? We need to be talking with our cousins and our sisters, people in our church, our neighborhood, about STEM as a real opportunity. Say this black lady walked into place on some real high red heels, and she said, we can do this. And you can. It's real. This is not just hokey, and you can have a wonderful time. So ladies, you matter. And I love this program that you got middle school and high school students here, because we realize, just like in the clip it said, about middle school, you start to change. You start to think, well, engineering really isn't for me. You know why? Because you ain't seen nobody look like, in the engineer look like nothing you want to be like. How many people watch The Big Bang Theory? Does anybody want to look like Sheldon? Okay? Okay? Or Amy? Okay? Smart as a whip, but that's the stereotype we perpetuated. And so I intentionally do everything. Now, I wouldn't wear this if I had a meeting at the Pentagon. I'd put on my dark suit and my dark heels, and probably I may put my hair up. So I understand there are certain times when you need to look a certain way, but you can look however you want. You can be whoever you want. You have what it takes. You are STEM professionals. And it's important that we understand that it's not the Einstein with the crazy white hair sticking all over your head. No, ladies, it's you. So why be a STEM major? Let me talk a little bit about this. This is an amazing woman. She's a woman of color in technology, the technologist of the year at the Women of Color in Technology Conference. And she is a senior VP, the highest ranked African-American female in the automobile industry. Amazing woman, and a community serving, gives back, makes such a difference. So, and obviously, at her level, she's getting paid extremely well. She has an opportunity to be innovative and creative. There are financial benefits. There's also job security. Okay? Now, of course, if in any job, we've seen, I've been at my job for 22 years. I said hardly anybody does that anymore. But there's tremendous job security. And I say this to young women. A friend of mine who I went to college with, her niece has a bachelor's degree in engineering, and she was very unhappy at her company, and she was thinking about leaving the field and actually becoming a teacher. And I said, well, if she wants to be a teacher, that's one thing, but if she feels like she's been forced out being an engineer because of the environment, that's another thing. So she called me and asked me to talk to her. And I remember her, this baby, when she was this big, and now she's a 24-year-old engineer at a major corporation. So I started asking her, I said, honey, why are you thinking about leaving your career? And so she said, well, I don't really have a boss. I said, well, do you have a mentor? She said, well, my boss left after I came to work here, and he got another assignment, and then his boss left. And so she said, and this is a very big company. If I told you the name of it, you know it very well. And she said, so I just kind of feel like I don't have anyone. And so I said, well, have you asked someone for help? She said, well, I don't know who to ask for help. And I said, well, honey, what's going on? I said, are you happy? And she just broke down and started crying. She said, I really struggle to get my engineering degree. And she said, and sometimes I feel like I'm really not an engineer. And I hear this so often. Ladies, she is as much of an engineer as anybody that walked out of that major institution that she walked out of. She got her degree at Georgia Tech. I said, baby, you have a degree from Georgia Tech Institute of Technology. You are an engineer. But when you're in environments where you're feeling frustrated, where you're feeling concerned, you're feeling worried, then you do start to question yourself. But thank God her aunt reached out to me so that I could reach out to her. And I reached into the company and got 2 senior people to talk to this baby. I said, you don't need to leave engineering for this reason. So understand there are a lot of opportunities. And I said, if you just decide that this company isn't for you, if you enjoyed learning what you learned as becoming an engineer, honey, there are other companies that would love to have your talent. But of course, this company was thanking me that I brought this to their attention, give them an opportunity to save this young person that they had recruited. And then, of course, you have an ability to make a difference. And truly global opportunities. If you love being right here in Southern Maryland, baby, you can stay here. You can have a wonderful career. But if you want to work in the west side of Japan, you can do that too. It is beautiful, the opportunities. A lady who's my TA and just finishing her industrial engineering degree, and she's so fashionable. She's so cute. I mean, she has some days she'll wear the afro and then the big wooden earrings. And I said, I really hope you have an opportunity to use your creativity in engineering. And because I don't want her to start thinking that she's shouldn't stay in engineering, and she should go use her creative side somewhere else. No, there are opportunities to do that right here in the field. So let's talk about a path. When I was your age, I didn't really understand success. I thought, when a person accomplished certain things, that it was just, by some miracle, somebody, guided them along the way, and then bam, there they were. There's no mystery to success. There's no dark cloud and, smoke and mirror, boom, and then shabala, shabala, and then you're successful. No, man, it's not that way at all. If we know the path, and we need to recognize opportunities, I'm going to give you some more steps. And I see some people taking notes. You're more than welcome to get a copy of the slides if you'd like. I'll be happy to make these available to you. But then understand that this is a great career. The very first thing we have to do is see it as a realistic possibility for us. Because if you can't see yourself there, it doesn't matter what I say. I can wear out this floor going back and forth. It doesn't matter if you don't see it as realistic for you. And I hope after today, there's no woman here, young lady, girl, who doesn't think that this is a realistic and exciting and viable career option for you. So it's a possibility. It's a great possibility for you. And then I want you to understand just how powerful you are. I think and especially, good Lord, you guys deal with so many different things than we did, but we're going to talk about the power of your mind. So knowing the path, middle school, science, robotics club, outreach activities. You're here today. Give yourselves a hand for being here today. Seriously. These situations, events like this, have changed people's lives. So every time you have an opportunity to participate in something that's going to better you, parents, teachers, friends, cousins, bring them. Bring them. It just may be that one event that makes that difference for them. And then, of course, join clubs. Participate in internships if you're students, undergraduate, and also look at international opportunities. Okay, lots of service learning opportunities. And then, of course, my students say, I want everybody to go get a PhD. I really do, but I try not to push so hard. But I think that there are a lot of people who have the potential, the ability, would be great innovators, professors, researchers. You don't have to be a professor like me. Entrepreneurs. And I love my PhD students. Today when they graduate, we went back, and when I graduated, got my PhD in '93, you went to university, you might have gone to a national lab, you may have gone to do internal research and development for a corporation. I love the options you guys have today. You know what they do? They graduate, walk across the stage, and walk across to incubator and start their own business. I said, well, go ahead on. They take their dissertation research and they're making $1 million businesses. Now, it takes work, it takes planning, but I'm thrilled to see that. So there's so many opportunities for you today. Now, recognize the opportunities. A lot of jobs, a lot of career opportunities. Is this the coolest thing? How cool is that? Okay? You got these babies who have prosthetic legs who without them wouldn't even be able to get up and move. Talk about impact. I've heard people say, well, I really want to make a difference in the community. And so that's why I don't want to study a STEM major. If that's not impact, I don't know what is. Okay? And then, of course, you know me and the phones. And then, of course, we're going to be internally tagging people. We all see a lot of stuff in the movies and we think it's not real. We're really close to a lot of the things that we see in movies. We just don't know about it. Now, let's talk money. Now, I always say I had a good Baptist upbringing, and so I love my Baptist roots. And Lord, let me be nice. I really do love my Baptist roots. But they told us money was bad. The Baptists lied. Money's not bad, okay? Money is not bad. You need money to live. Okay, now you don't want to let the money have you, you just have the money. But these are the starting salaries. Ladies, we're talking about you're 22, 23 years old, you walking out the door making this kind of money. Today. So in 4 or 5 years, it's going to be even more. You can buy yourself a nice car, a nice home, buy the house first, then get the car. Won't have to be bothering your parents about money anymore. Any parents in the room are going to want to run up and embrace me after this, okay? But this is real. It's not hokey. This is real. This is what students are graduating and earning every day with bachelor's degrees in engineering. So how do we do this? First off, understand that it's a real possibility for us. Understand you're going to make mistakes. Honey, you're going to make mistakes. It's okay. You've already made some. Okay? There are going to be people around who may not necessarily support you, encourage you. That's okay too. When you understand the power that you have right here to accomplish anything you set your mind to, you will truly be ready to move forward into a wonderful, not just career, but a wonderful lifestyle. So understand the power that you have in your mind. Look at this woman. This woman's amazing. She's a rocket scientist, and she said she thought she was dumb because she was dyslexic. Did you know Albert Einstein was dyslexic? Okay. So don't let people put labels on you. Don't let anybody decide who you are. You know you are smart, you're capable, you need to work hard to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish in life, but you make that decision. I am going to be the wonderful person that I was put here to be, and I'm not going to wear anybody's negative labels. And believe me, they'll try to put them on me, and sometimes they might even be well-meaning. You might be a parent who said, well, I didn't do well in math, honey, so I don't expect you to do well in math. Don't put that on me. Now, mama, you might mean well, but don't put that on the baby. Because we're all individuals, and you have tremendous opportunities. And this is one of my favorite proverbs. This is Macaulay's adaptation. As a woman thinks in her heart, so is she. So the way you think is who you will be and who you will become. And this is so powerful. I've seen it over and over again. And as I said, I'll be 52 years old this summer. And when I look at what some people who have done, who had so little, and those who were given so much and then did very little with it, it's amazing to me. The power that we have in our mind, with our mind and over our lives. So developing your mind. My goddaughters, they said, God, mommy, I said, girls, listen, what are you thinking about? You know, what do you listen to? My 35-year-old, she's pretty much clear about the kind of things that she ought to be doing, and she still watches a little too much Lifetime movie for me, but that's all right, you know, Lifetime's okay. But I say to my 16-year-old girls, honey, what are you putting in your mind? And I know you all have it difficult. You know, back in the day, you know, somebody's meeting you at school, you know, you got on the bus, and if they're on the bus, they might kind of clown with you, but, you know, I was a big sister. I had a sister older than me, and then I had a brother, so nobody messed with us too much, and, you know, I really wasn't that afraid of much at all. But people might kind of act a fool with you, but today, people reaching through the computer and talking crazy, they acting a fool with you. So I realize it's a very different world for you. But, honey, cut those negative ties, and then put some good things in your mind. They say, well, God, mommy, we're just listening to it. No, baby, you're listening to it, but it's going in, and it's having an impact. Now, I really sound like your mom up here, I know. But mom gave me $2 to say this to you. It's important the things you listen to. It's important the people you associate with. What are you putting in your mind? And put some good things in. Then choose positive input. And then be a source of positivity to your own mind. I was talking to one of my students, a brilliant woman, one of my graduate students. And so she was asking about a take-home exam that I had given. And so she said, well, I did something stupid here. And I did something stupid here. I said, you don't get to say you did anything stupid to me anymore. Say you didn't understand what was going on here. And she said, well, I don't really mean that. I said, but you're saying it. So we're not going to say you did something stupid. Perhaps you didn't make the best choice. But don't put yourself down, ladies. Don't do that. And I find that we do that so often. And it's sort of just a natural thing, and maybe family does it. Girl, I was so dumb. Well, no, you didn't make the best choice. But I strongly encourage you not to do that to yourself. Speak positively to yourself. And then if this ain't valuable, like-minded associations. I am blessed with some of the most wonderful friends in the world. And nobody's perfect. I'm not a perfect friend. You know, I get busy. I've been accused of being a workaholic, but I love my work, okay? So I'm gonna be running and busy, but when we get together, we have that latte, we sit down, chatting. I am going to be so excited to spend time with you. I wanna hear about what's going on in your world. I wanna lift you up and encourage you. You're having some difficulties. You know, they got a problem, they can call me. You can find me. I'll pray in the airport. I'll step aside, pray for you. So good people around you is so important. Even if it's only one. Have one good person around you rather than 10 people around you and you think you're popular, and that means something because you got all the people around you and they ain't bringing nothing to your life. Don't do that to yourself. Please don't do that to yourself. And it's easier. I actually think it's easier in high school because at least you have your parents there to buffer the negativity. When you get to college, it's you and the Lord. And so you can have all these crazy people in your world, but don't. Why? One good person. And if you don't have any good people, say, well, I won't have any friends because this is a nice little group that I found and they kind of accepted me, so you say to yourself, so maybe I ought to hang with them. If they're not bringing anything to the betterment of you, you need to let that group go. You need to let it go. I don't care how well they dress and everybody likes them and thinks they're cool people on campus. Cool people can be working on fries and McDonald's in 10 years. Let the cool people go. Be with the right people. Because it really does matter. It makes such a difference. And I had, when I was struggling academically, my friend who I told you called to ask me to speak to her niece. I remember one time I took an exam, Calculus 2. Calculus 2 was the hardest class I ever took in my life. I told the group that yesterday. And so I took it twice. Failed it the first time. Second time I was about to fail it and dropped it. And I remember being so frustrated. But I realized that I had made some bad choices. I went and sat down with my mentor. And he said, you're just working the odd problems. You need to work the odd and even problems. You need to go to the professor's office because I graduated from Frederick Douglass High School. I didn't take calculus in high school. Many of the other people in the class had taken calculus in high school. So I needed more time with the teacher, I needed more time with the tutor, but I didn't want to look like I wasn't smart, okay? I graduated with distinction. I don't need to go to a tutor. Oh yes, I did. I needed to go to the tutor. So I put my pride aside. I went and talked to the tutor, and I remember sitting down with my friend Marcy, and I said, Marcy, I'm so frustrated. She said, girl, you know you can do this. You know you're going to get through this. You just hang on in there. And Marcy was brilliant, and we studied together. But that friendship was so powerful throughout my undergraduate years, and several other good friends were there when I needed them. So this is important. And then be a good friend. So be a good friend. So you can have impact. You're here today. You ladies, I mean, this says a lot. Just the fact that you're here. You are amazing. You really are. And see, we don't hear that a lot. Statistics say that in these United States of America, only 11% of the people in this population are considered optimists. That means 89% of the people that you're dealing with are neutralists at best. And we know we got some pessimists in there. So people don't say that you're amazing, you're wonderful, but I'm here to tell you, you are. You are. This is real. This is true. You can do amazing things in your life. You can, you should, and if you believe me, you will. You can have a significant impact on this world. I'm looking at future scientists and engineers and Nobel Prize winners and Rhodes Scholars and innovators and presidents and CEOs of companies and professors and university presidents. You're right here. I'm looking in the face of greatness. And you just have to receive it. Receive it, and you can have such an amazing impact. And this is another one of my good influences. Dr. Lisa Macon. And Lisa's younger than I am. When she was taking computer science, she took a computer science class, and the professor told her that, well, she took a math class in high school, and her professor said, although she earned an A, he wasn't going to give her an A, he was going to give her a B because he didn't want to encourage her to study computer science. Oh. Can you believe that? Well, thank God her dad got right up on it. She's a computer scientist and dean of the Division of Engineering and Computer Programming Technology today at Valencia College. Okay, so that was back then, but listen, it even happens today. There's a young lady that I was on a panel with about 3 weeks ago, and she's a computer science student at UCF. And she said that when she went into the programming class, one of the guys said, when are you going to drop this class? Because there's only like 3 or 4 girls in the class. This is today, 2015. So she said, I didn't let it bother me so much. She said, because later in the class, he was asking me for help, okay? All right, amen to that. So ladies, don't let it stop you. Now, if she gotten frustrated, oh gosh, maybe I don't need to be here, or been timid, she said no. And so he was coming to her for help. So ladies, it's amazing the things you can do, the things that you should do. So these careers are for you. Commit to academic success. It's gonna take some work. You're gonna miss some parties, okay? You're gonna miss some hanging out. You're gonna have to get off social media. But guess what, baby? When you get your degree, you can have a party, okay? You can take the trip, social media, and you ain't got to be looking on Facebook and other people know why. You will be there. Okay? So commit to your academic success. Set some goals, some high expectations, and it's going to take some hard work. My daughter says, Mom, you lose them. You have them until you get to the work. But baby, it's going to take some work. But it's worth it. It is well worth it. This is your future. This is a wonderful future that you can have. And we work hard at other things. We work hard if you want to be on the basketball team. We work hard. I was a cheerleader, so you want to work hard to do cheering. And when I glow up, when my hair is acting up, I work hard to get my due right, okay? So we work hard on other things, so you might as well work hard for your future. Okay? And good association and integrity. Always, 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 always do what's right. I always say to my students come to me for years, ask me for letters of recommendation. I said, I will write a glowing letter of recommendation for a student that operated in integrity and made a C in my class. Whereas I won't even consider writing one for a student who made an A, even if I had the slightest concern about your integrity. And that is so important. Do the right thing, because that's what you should do. Not because people are watching, not because you don't want people to think something about you. Do the right thing because that's who you need to be. Do what's right. And then believe you can. It's real. You can. You can do it against all odds. It doesn't matter. And I'm just real quick, this is a project that I'm working on. Now, NASA Kennedy Space Center approached me about doing some research with them. So I'm working on a research project to redesign the modules where the people sit in the firing room. You know when you see the space shuttle launches and you see all the engineers in the room? They have redesigned that because now NASA is very different. They no longer have the government doing that. They have the two contractors, so SpaceX and Boeing. And so you have different teams of engineers coming in launching vehicles. So they realized they needed a more modular design that would be able to accommodate different types of groups. And so they asked me if I would consider doing this research for them from a human factors or ergonomics perspective. So I'm very excited about doing that, and I've got several of my students working on that with me. I'm also looking at the ergonomics of body-worn cameras for law enforcement officers. A lot of agencies and municipalities are putting these body-worn cameras on police officers, but there really hasn't been a lot of science going into the ergonomics and biomechanics of it. They've looked at more at the security issues. They've looked at from a privacy standpoint. But some of the, for example, let me show you for sure an example of how they really haven't thought about some of the human factors and ergonomics of it. Some of the cameras are worn. This is Deputy Gonzalez, who's just amazing from the Orange County Sheriff's Office, and Sheriff Deming's office has been very supportive of us. But he came to my lab. His camera's is right there. So it's worn right here on the lapel. So that's one configuration. There's another one that's worn right here. Okay, and the torso is a very stable aspect of the human body because it's larger and it doesn't shift as much, like the arm moves a lot, so you have a lot of movement, so you're more likely to lose the camera, say, if you had it on the wrist. Whereas this is a very stable portion of the human body. And then from an anthropometric standpoint, it's the largest portion, so again, you've got stability. Well, if you've got a body-worn camera here, it may not come off, but one of the people, I asked a question, I said, so what about the view? And so it said, well, the view isn't as high, and of course you want the camera where a person's eyes are because you want the camera to see what the person sees. Because if I've got a camera behind me, that does no good because my eyes are not behind me unless I'm getting some direct feed. But once again, the camera right here. Say, well, we're having some problem with angles. And guess what? With some of the female officers, the angle's even more. Did anybody think about the human body when they decided to put this? I mean, that's anthropometrics, that's science. Simple, and I think it's simple science. But it happens all the time. So that's a project I'm working on. And then the last one I'm working on is the ergonomics of Ebola for healthcare workers on a global level. Here in the US, for those 2 Ebola patients, we had those 2 nurses, we spent $1.6 million treating those 2. Because we're frantic, we're panicked. And so our healthcare workers, obviously, my heart was so saddened for those healthcare workers because these are people who go into a profession to take care of people. And for them to be getting sick. And so I can understand the urgency and the concern, but we don't have $800,000 for every person that might get Ebola. So understanding that, I said there's got to be some ergonomic and occupational safety issues that have not been fully understood from a research perspective. So I wrote a proposal, and I'll be researching this as well in the fall. And also, I don't think that US people should be the only ones that recover from Ebola. I think that this should be, people on a global level should be safer. We have the science, we have the knowledge, and we need to understand it and be able to disseminate it more broadly. So that's a kind of impact, ladies, that we can have as STEM professionals. So the choice is yours. I'm asking you to make today, come with me. We need you. I need you to be a STEM professional, okay? You're gonna have a great life, okay? You can do wonderful things, it's up to you. So make up your mind today, ladies, to succeed. And I would love to hear about the wonderful success that you're going to have. So that's all I have for you.